are the great wing shooting destinations of the world, steeped in tradition, offering the pinnacle of shotgun sport. Tour the planet with us.
In traveling for Wingshooting the World, Chris Batha has enjoyed shooting opportunities in North America, South America, Europe, and Africa. Along the way, he's hosted a growing number of women who are as into wing shooting as any man can be.
What a fantastic shot.
Oh, it was fun.
I'll tell you, you'll remember that one for the rest of your life. It is not uncommon for me to take a team of guns to Europe, Africa, Argentina, anywhere in the world, and half or more will be ladies, and sometimes a full team of lady guns, which is just incredible and just a pleasure to see, and I hope it continues to grow and grow. And believe it or not, all those lovely ladies in the field are bringing a lot of men into the sport as well.
Our first stop, the celebration and traditions of a driven pheasant shoot in Western Scotland.
The draw that brings people here to shoot pheasant in Scotland is the terrain. You've got these wonderful high hills and wonderful coppices and great cover for the birds, so you get fantastic pheasant here. You know, they're prolific and they also fly so great. They come off these high hills and present some of the most challenging shooting in the world.
Chris is lending a helping hand to Tisha Hutchinson of Huntsville, Alabama.
Now there's going to be lots and lots of birds, so please pick the high ones, let the low ones pass.
She was bubbly, excited, and you know, she fired up everyone, and the men in particular really enjoyed her company. You know, it's all good was her favourite saying, even if we were standing in the blizzard on the side of the Irish Sea. Imagine we're on 6 and the clock's laid out in front of us with 12. Try and read the angle of the bird, i.e. if it came in at 11 o'clock, it's leaving at 5. We know the angle, so we can then actually turn our feet as we're moving with the bird and get it to the right position. So we're nicely in balance when we take the shot. Just like, as I say, you can implement your clay shooting.
Okay.
Now what the birds will do here, they'll bring the drive down and the birds will be high, so they'll look and see that water and they'll know there's nowhere to go to.
Okay.
So what they'll do is they'll turn, and you'll find that you'll have a lot of shots where the bird will fly down here towards you, or even come around this side of the drive and fly back the other way.
Okay.
Now it's not one of the biggest drives, but we can have some fun.
Okay.
And you're in pole position, and 6 in a drive is what we call the Duke seat, where you get most of the shooting.
Right.
So
I shoot competitively, and I have a sporting clays coach, Wendell Cherry, and he's always buzzing in my ear to make adjustments with my shooting, so I'm quite used to it.
no, too low.
Oh, too low.
Too low, baby. Yeah, lead him. That's what we call a curling pheasant. And what he's done is he's shown you a crosser.
Right.
Shoot it! That was underneath again. At it. Well, what's happening is the bird's coming across this short window, and it's a crosser, and you know that because you're an experienced shot, it needs lead.
Right.
And so then as you're going to take the shot, the target's turned now into a quartering target that we know doesn't need lead.
Right.
So then you're overleading them. So, you know, all you've got to do is, as that transition happens, is just shoot the bird just like you would a quartering clay, or like high ice too.
If you visually pick the bird up faster, it's going to give you more opportunity to read what he's doing.
Exactly right, but the problem being is you were unfortunate. You got this huge yew tree in front of you, and then you've got all that fir and conifer to one side, and so you've got such a short window to establish it. It's a tough peg. Lead the head. That was too far in front.
Chris described how to take care and really adjust my shot. Helped tremendously. So I think I was overleading the birds. Here we go.
Oh, come on, on his head, lead him. Yes, nice shot. Load up quick. Got there for you. Very nice shot, superbly done. That was a tough bird, well done.
Thank you. That was fun. It was very fast. I didn't really have a lot of time to think about it. I think it was very instinctive, the way I shot it. It's a beautiful pheasant.
Yeah, that was a great shot.
Thank you.
Anyway, the next drive's going to be really busy, so you can put the clock theory into practice.
There we go.
That's called Murphy's Law or Sod's Law. Much more challenging, sometimes maybe 40, 45 yards away, and you're going to be on top of your game, and it's so exciting. When you do clatter one of these down, you'll remember it for the rest of your life. Hi, I'm Chris Bartha. More and more ladies are taking up the sport of clay pigeon shooting and wing shooting, and there's no greater pleasure that I've derived over the years than helping them to break that first clay or take that first bird in the field.
Chris Bartha is known worldwide as a top shooting instructor. His combination of serious instruction, along with a large dose of good humor, polishes the wing shooting talents of hundreds of new shooters every year.
Are you pulling the trigger deliberately that quickly, or?
I'll pull it.
Yeah.
Today, Chris is at Huntsman Hunt Club near Detroit, Michigan. He conducts many shooting schools each year, and he personally takes the most pleasure from watching a new shooter achieve success.
There you go. So as we've been discussing, if we use a clay pigeon to simulate a quail, when the clay pigeon comes off the trap arm or a quail comes off the floor, the reflex action of the eye, looking to the bird, coming back, and then coming onto the end of the gun, our bayonet movement to the bird, we ascertain speed, the line of flight, and it will unfold with natural hand and eye coordination to the break point or kill point of the target. And that's the grooving the fundamentals are done on the clays course before we go out in the field come the season and put it into practice. Then only experience can come into it. Do half an hour of practice on this type of target presentation, and we can definitely make improvement, which will help us when the season opens. So what I'd like to do now is to go out to the clays course and put it into practice.
I had some friends that hunted, and I went with them and got the bug.
I've been shooting since I was a young gal. Actually, for my 16th birthday present, I got a 410, a single shot 410. So I grew up shooting clay targets with a 410. I just haven't shot in many, many years.
We've discussed the theory, and I think I've talked you to death, so we're going to, action stations, we're going to try and put it into practice. And no better place to start on upland bird shooting than the wobble trap. So.
My attraction to shooting is it's something that takes my mind off everything. I don't have to think about my job, I don't have to think about my children. While I'm shooting, that's all I'm thinking about. So even if I run out for 10 minutes and shoot a quick round of wobble trap, it gets my adrenaline going, and it's a mental break for me. I love it, it's exhilarating for me.
Well, we discussed about visual holds and gun holds and break points. And if we're talking about upland bird shooting, the thing is the bird can go anywhere. And so a wobble trap's a perfect target to practice that kind of shooting on. So what I want you to do is sort of put your eyes out, soft focus in this area here, and the bird's coming now. And so what we're going to look at is our gun's going to be held reasonably high, not right down where the target's coming from. Otherwise we're going to do that going up as the target's going down and jumping over the top, which is the biggest miss of upland birds. We hold our gun out, try your left forefinger as if it was your gun. Now I want you to look down beneath your finger, halfway between the trap house and the bird's coming now. And then you just move your finger to it, and the bird's come in now. See the bird, shoot the bird. A nice bayonet movement into the target. Basically, what we're going to do with a gun, if you think of your left forefinger as the guiding, the barrels are just an extension of that finger. We see the bird and we extend into the target. We ready?
We're ready.
Okay then, let's see you shoot a couple, and then we'll see if we can help you from there. Now, when you're ready.
Pull.
So nice that someone paid attention and listened. Do you know that's a great thing about teaching ladies? You teach men, and that's my macho man. They don't listen, whereas the ladies always pay rapt attention, and it pays dividends. Look at that.
During that day, Chris gave me several pointers, and since then, every time I'm out shooting, I remember exactly what he said to me. And it's like I've picked up exactly where we've left off, and it's helped me tremendously become a better shooter. Pull.
Good look at the target, bang. That's it, don't hesitate. Good look at the target, bang. Oh, double.
There's so many times you're out there shooting and you'll do something wrong, and you don't know what you're doing wrong. And until you figure out what it is you're doing wrong, the frustration builds and mounts. And sometimes it's something simple. And Chris, I went out there with him for the first time, and he's watched me shoot a few times and worked with me, and then told me exactly what I was doing wrong. Paul.
Very nice.
Paul.
The one thing I have to question you about is you're holding the stock way back under your arm, you know, like way back here. Well, what happens is it's good in some way to have the gun back maybe half an inch or so you can't overpower it with the right hand, but and then you have to have that bayonet movement we're looking for, but this amount is giving you too much work to do on your gun mount, and so just bring the gun a little bit forward from it.
Paul. 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 Paul.
That was excellent, absolutely first class. Well, I think that we should all be retiring for some refreshment. Okay. Imbibe a beverage or two.
Sounds
well
good.
done, that was really good work.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Right, step this way.
Okay.
Okay. Teaching a newcomer to hit a clay target with a shotgun can be a test of patience. To break a clay target for the first time requires simultaneous control of many individual mental and physical skills. That first hit is always a cause for celebration.
Thank you.
Chris Batha operates shooting schools across the country with the goal of making his clients, both men and women, the best shooters they can be.
Woo, excellent.
Like any other skill worth acquiring, wing shooting comes down to mastery of the fundamentals. You have to learn on the range before you'll succeed in the field.
Shooting at Brays Island, we arrived the day before, and after a tour I was asked to give some instruction to Cheryl Hyam and a charming lady and her husband Alan, and we worked on the 5-stand and skeet range with them, and they just bought some new side-by-side Gruger shotguns, lovely shotguns, and they were working well. So if you come and stand next to me and take up your stance.
Oh.
If I take the gun, empty gun, when you mount the gun, you're not used to it. You're used to shooting pre-mounted, and now that we're going to be hunting in the field, you're shooting gun down. So when the gun's mounted, it should come to your cheek like this in a parallel motion.
Okay.
What you're actually doing is mounting to the shoulder and then dropping your head.
Okay.
And if you can think cheek and not shoulder, because as soon as it's your shoulder, you can only drop your head. And if you'd like to have a little experiment, point at the number 5 with your forefinger, drop it down, and then just bring it up and point at it again, drop it down. Now this time, as you get to the number 5, drop your head half an inch. You missed over the top, yeah? The gun goes up in the air. So what's happening is you're doing everything perfect, you're right on the target, everything's great, and just as you come to the bird, you're dropping your head and the gun's just jumping over the target. So if the gun has to be to the cheek and not the shoulder, and you'll find everything else will fall into place.
All right.
She struggled a little bit. I don't know if it was the intimidation of a 6'3" Englishman towering over her she'd never met before, but she struggled a little bit. But I continued to give her some pointers, some tips, some advice. This is yours.
Oh,
we're up.
All righty.
Anyway, the next day in the field we went out to shoot. I joined her as a fellow gun on one hunt, and on that pass, I have to say, she put me to shame. Cheryl! Yes! What a lovely shot!
Thank you. I was worried that was
Awesome.
going to get away from me.
That was a good 35-yard bird.
Okay.
Do you have a twin sister?
No.
Well, this can't be the same woman who was struggling on the clays course last night. You're a killer.
Oh, thanks.
Unbelievable.
I was
Great
pretty
shooting.
worried about today, you know, after my performance yesterday.
I don't know, you settled it. It's always nerve-wracking, some strange Englishman breathing over your shoulder.
As a novice hunter, you know, you're always looking for any points that will just help you get better. And as they tell you, it's experience and it's time in the saddle, you know, our time in the field. And yesterday, just talking with Chris out at the shooting range and just learning one small thing that helps you mount the gun better or helps you with your balance and your positioning. You
really paid off in the field today. And also walking with somebody who you know have confidence and had years and thousands of rounds through their gun, you just pay attention. You just see what Chris was doing today, and it was really a great event.
You're putting me to shame, Cheryl. She shot absolutely brilliantly, and clean kills and a double. She was an excellent shot and a great joy to see. As I say, she wiped my eye, but I couldn't have been more happier for her to do so. Just put it on. Now open the leg up, bang. Yeah, that's it. Good shot.
More women than ever now call themselves wing shooters. Whether it's to spend more time with a significant other, to shoot in the company of other women, or just for the pure challenge of the sport, the numbers of women picking up shotguns increases every year.
Over the last 10 years, there has been a large number of ladies taking up the shooting sports. It's almost become golf with a shotgun to them. Some will be target shooters in the 3 disciplines. Others love to go into the field shooting and wing shooting in particular. And it's amazing the number that are passionate about the dogs and the dog handling, and often they come to shooting through that route. I have no doubts at all that this trend will continue.
For some, it's a return to a sport they left years ago. Carrie Bennett hasn't picked up her shotgun in years, but today she's in Oregon with Chris Batha, attempting to bag her first pheasant.
Now what you're doing is you're not coming back for the target.
I haven't shot a bird since my 20s. So it's been a long time. It's been quite a while.
When we're shooting, what we discussed on the clays course, if you stand with your feet armpits apart, little quarter turn to your right, about 70% of your weight in the front foot, and the ready position's like this, try a finger along there, and now the gun mount should be parallel into your cheek. Now come into the cheek.
Oh, there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if you come down, and it's just bring your shoulder like roll into the gun, that's better. The gun's just fractionally too long here. But it's this action, the gun.
Okay.
And the front hand begins it, so you start the front hand thing. Now if you brought your hand just a little bit further back, the gun would appear shorter to you. And your body must go into the gun.
Okay.
Yeah? And that's the proper stance and head position we want. And what's happening at the moment is you're bringing the gun back.
I'm bringing it here.
Yeah.
I'm putting it into my shoulder.
You're pulling it into your shoulder.
Yeah, I'm going like this and then going.
Yeah. And you should be weight forward, and so you get ready. The gun should be about 24 degrees of shoulder height for the bird, so the dog's nice and safe from the guy. Okay. And you just lift into it. Bring your shoulder into the gun.
Okay.
And as you reach forward, you roll into the. Perfect. That's very good. Now, do you want a little go on your own? Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay.
And you have got more time than you think.
All right. That's what you keep telling me.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I gave her a few pointers, and as wing shooting is, it's not like clay shooting, there's some surprises. The birds took her by surprise. Come on, his head. 8, 9. Right, shot too far in front. Perfect, otherwise.
Okay.
I'll just collect your shells for you.
Too far in front?
Yes, yeah. Go on, bang, and again. Oh, you hit it with the first one in the tail. Well, no, it's good. You're doing everything right.
Shot over it, shot under it, shot behind it.
And then all of a sudden there's a majestic cock pheasant stood on his tail and towered out over the wheat field, and she clattered it down, and I was so pleased for her. I mean, you know, the look on her face, that smile, I tell you, that was worth somebody giving me $1,000. That was his pleasure. First rooster!
I just remembered everything he was trying to say and took my safety off my gun, pointed, and fired away. Pretty darn happy to get that pheasant.
In my business, you're fortunate to meet some really, really nice people, and it might be that they're on their vacation and they're in their recreation time, and so they're a lot more relaxed. But one of my great pleasures was Stephanie Tuttle. She joined me in Argentina, shooting pigeons and dove. Oh, very nice.
Maybe if y'all would stay here all afternoon, I would see better.
And again, double. Oh, do you know that's 10 in a row? Yes. Yeah. And I mean, these birds are good. Oh.
I knew I got that one.
That was graveyard day. That's like 50-yard shot. Yeah, it's just superb shooting. Don't you think that for practice that these doves are one of the most challenging shots you can make, and the variety of heights and angles they give you, practice for any bird you're going to see in Northern America?
Oh, goodness, yeah. And I know if I weren't in a place like this where because there haven't been easy shots.
Yeah, you've been forced to take the harder shot. Yeah.
So, and I've learned I can do it.
Yeah. Well, you're doing it very, very well. Oh, but that's a 60-yard dove. Like I'd be proud to hit it myself if I could. Oh, now that deserves to be captured on a camera. That was a great shot. Oh, and it's a good 30, 35 in the air. So if you cut the angle, it's a 50-yard target. That is as good as it gets. Beyond that, the shotgun can't reach. You're shooting really, really well. This is one lady deadlier than the male, and very, very modest about it, always playing it down. Oh, I've got to give you a little round of applause. The biggest problem with men is that they've usually shot from a very early age, and they come with a lot of baggage. They come with bad habits, bad muscle memories, and also they know how to do it, and they've got an element of success, and any kind of attempt to change their muscle memory that results in a few more missed targets, they're too sort of strong-headed to accept it a lot of the time. Whereas the ladies are refreshing. They will listen and they will take on board and they follow instruction. In some ways, I think, especially the newcomers, are a little intimidated by the gun, so pay rapid attention to the safety, safe gun handling, and they pay very particular attention to the fundamentals, which I believe are all important. Ladies do listen better than men.